We get on to what's gone on. This year specifically, we found it still very tough as far as our business is concerned. Still resurging out of the last few years, which have been challenging, of course, and moving forward. We constantly find ourselves digging deeper to get more out of what we have to do. And our methods of moving forward, lead generation is a massive part of what we're thinking about these days and what we're constantly focusing on. We're doing a lot of work with that at the moment, simply to find more deals, more investors. And this is one of the major parts of our whole business, but we're doing a lot of work online and offline too. I'm always networking, that type of thing. So as far as that lead generation is concerned, we're constantly trying to get to people who mean business, people who are serious. People call up, they want to find a different solution for disposing of their property or getting rid of it or what to do with it because of the fact that they need rid of it. And well, with the commercial market and everything, their prices have been severely curtailed. And what's more, their occupancies are falling out of bed all over the place. It's possible you've noticed it where you are, but it's an incredibly volatile market out there as far as commercial properties that are coming vacant, restaurants closing, businesses closing, loads of banks closing. We know there's something like 500 closing in the next year or two. All that stuff's going on. We're in this incredible period of turmoil, and so that's what we're having to live with. And this is what we're experiencing, and our business constantly having to deal with that as far as what our day-to-day is. We are taking in, quietly building our investor list more, which is really good. And it's amazing the people that we're meeting. It is good to be involved with somewhat open-minded investors. We do still have a situation where we're working with people or trying to work with people who've got unrealistic expectations. We have scenarios in property whereby people are going along, seeing people on stage talking about their best deals ever and that type of thing, and then investors rock up to us and they're expecting the same kind of thing. I've got one particular who literally it's not a large amount of money involved, but he still wants it to be a simple deal, not very much risk at all, and he wants it to refinance for him in the first few months, etc. And what's more, he wants that down in the southeast of England, not up north, where quite honestly it could happen quite easily up there. But he's specific about it being the southeast of England. That's a very difficult call. So challenging. At the same time, we've got more seasoned investors who have more realistic views and are sometimes quite undemanding, which is really interesting. They want their security, want things to be safe, they want to be very recognizable of what they've done in the past, and they're not so crazy as far as the sort of percentages they need. I did speak with one leading educator earlier this year, or maybe it was the end of last year, about those amazing deals that you hear these people talk about on stage sometimes. And it was very funny because I said to him about this deal that we were looking for or trying to nail and win over. And he said, well, you can wait for deals like that, but they might happen once or twice a year. And so the real deals that are really realistic, that are really going to happen for yourselves as an investor, for instance, is the ones that are just a little bit not quite so crazy and extreme on what they expect. What some people say. We do like to ask investors, say, what are you looking for? What would you like to do? What's the ideal thing that's going to make you comfortable? What is, often there's families involved, we ask about, we can at least have a couple of representatives there in a discussion with. That helps, but what they're looking for as far as their requirements are concerned, the amount of people that want a 30% return on their money inside 12 months is quite incredible as far as literally getting everything back. And in fact, not 6 months. I've got people who are literally serious about 6 months. And a moment of complete candidness here as well. Have we ever done that? No, we have not done a deal like that. We never got one that worked like that. It just, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it couldn't happen for some people sometimes, but it's a rarity. It's fine, you might wait around for that, but it could take you 2 years and your money in the bank has lost a lot of money by then, certainly in the current market. As far as deals are concerned, we're finding that a lot of people are holding tight. Their property isn't selling. It's falling through once, twice, before they're getting sick about what they can expect for it. Of course, the agents are telling them one thing, and of course, agents are telling us how. If I could not fit on one hand the amount of agents in the last month that have told me they're having their best year ever. Where does that come from? But who am I to argue? It's nice to know that somebody's benefiting very well, but the agents are talking about having their best years ever in some cases, and we're doing viewings of properties, trying to uphold prices which are incredible, to say the least, and not really moving on it. We have even come across certain probate properties that are still held with banks that are just not coming down. These properties need a lot of work, and they're asking for prices that are equal to almost, as my good colleagues up north would call, done up value. And they haven't been done up yet. They haven't been refurbished, done. That's a challenge. We do see signs of slowly but surely the price is coming down. Like I said, by the time they've fallen through a couple of times, this year when we were purchasing, we found people to be a lot more reasonable once that had happened. But it certainly doesn't help us get involved with properties that are new to the market at all, as far as that's concerned. That's basically what's going on there. As far as the commercial properties are concerned, we are hearing of certain people who are interested in talking about different ways of doing it. For instance, partnerships as far as building out things like that. We have spoken to one or two, not a lot, but we're hearing of more. We'll see how that goes and how it's going to develop in 2024. We'll see. It's 1.6 million mortgages are to be refinanced next year, I believe, redone. So that's going to have a huge effect on the market, I would have thought, and just going to have to wait and see how that pans out. As far as investors are concerned, again, we're finding, we've heard of cash buyers, usually something that's very welcome to agents and sellers, vendors, but cash buyers are moving on elsewhere. They see a shinier penny. They've changed their minds. Landlords just saying they want this, this, this. Eventually, all of a sudden, it's supposed to be closing and they're walking away and going in a completely different direction. We've even heard of this happening at auctions, believe it or not. There are people that are literally, they're putting their down payment on a property bought at auction, and for one reason or another, whether the mortgage is not coming through or they've rethought it, they're literally walking away from that money. Maybe when they get it home, into the office, the house, whatever, and they have a look at it in the cold light of day, realize what they've done, and they're literally leaving deposits behind. So unusual as far as this year's been concerned, as far as that's concerned, and we've seen quite a lot of it. So heard quite a lot of it. It's always those ones that have fallen through 2 or 3 times that we're finding the opportunities in. I think that's that for one time, and let's leave it at that. Okay, how's that, George? I suppose I should set my timer off, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
I can't wind up there. I don't know how it's set.